Bam. All right, guys, here we go. Got another mod for the brand new 2020 Silverado. You guys see I've been working on it. I got the RotoFab cold air intake. They make some of the best stuff I've ever seen. You know, on the Z01 Camaro that I had, everybody raves about how awesome they are. So instead of doing the normal thing and running with all these other brands, I did some research, and it looks like RotoFab really does their work, really does their engineering, and makes a nice product. So I'm going to give it a shot. They claim it's somewhere close to a 14 horsepower upgrade. We're going to go ahead and see. So there is the truck. As you remember already, I've taken the emblems off. That video will be posting soon. We've got the Borla exhaust. Now I'm doing the cold air intake. I've read their instruction manual. I've already actually, you know, did a preliminary search and look around to see everything I could learn. So 7, 8, 10 millimeter sockets, flat head, Phillips head, and a T15 Torx. If you do unboxings, I think you're boring and you're copying everybody else on the internet. Nobody wants to see you unpack or unbox anything. So here's everything already unboxed. Most of it is already unwrapped. Nobody wants to see you do that stuff. If you guys are doing that, get a clue. Boring. What I am going to do is give you a walk around and tell you guys how we're going to install this. So one of the first things we have to do is take these two T15 Torx out of here to get this out of the way. And then I believe there's 10 of these all the way around to get this trim piece off so we can get down to the air cleaner tube that goes from here all the way under to the air cleaner. So I will take out a few of those and show them to you, but I'm not going to show you every one, so it'll be kind of a little quick clip, and then we'll move on from there. I don't know if you guys can see this in the camera, but there's actually a little slot in here. I'm just using a flathead screwdriver, and then that pries up, and then I'm just going to kind of get on here and lift real softly, and all of these will come out to get this trim piece out. They're relatively pretty easy. I'm just going to turn it sideways so I can get in that hole. Real simple. And you just keep doing that all the way around the outside edge till you get this trim piece removed. Once I get this trim piece ready to remove, I'll turn back on the camera and show you the rest. As you can see, this is going relatively fast and pretty simple. Okay, these are the two screws I was telling you about, the T15s for your hood release. We're going to take those out real quick, and then this trim piece should come out of the way completely. Pretty simple. Now we should be able to just pull that right out just like that, and that's step one complete. Really was pretty easy. So step two is they have some of those same clips holding in this air cleaner here. What you want to do is be careful not to drop it down into the air cleaner tube. And what I'm going to try to do is get this air cleaner tube out from under here and pull it out and around. There we go. Not so sure how easy that's going to be. All right, stop it. Okay, the instructions say you don't have to take out this bar, that this tube should slide right out, but maybe that's the case on the 5.3. On the 6.2, I cannot seem to get this tube out. So I'm going to go ahead and take this support bar out of here and see if that helps me get this tube out. It was a 13 millimeter wrench. I think one bolt, and then I can loosen the other and just kind of slide this thing out of the way a little bit and see if that helps me out any. See, I just took the bolt loose, and I'm going to slide this bracket out of here. Gives me a lot more room to try to work this plastic air duct out of here. I think it was absolutely worth the 30 seconds it took to get that out of there. Just to give me a little bit more room. And of course, this thing is going to fight me because the camera's on. So this is the part, if you're a shade tree mechanic, where the cussing and raising hell starts right here when something that's simple is supposed to happen so easily ends up becoming an absolute nightmare for you. And I'm not sure why this is not sliding out of here easily. There we go. Got to force it towards the center of the truck was the trick. I was trying to force it up, and in the shape you need to come out and around. So hopefully that'll be a helpful tip to some of you guys that are going to see me do this. You're going to have to start from here and work it back in also, instead of going down and around. Step 2 complete. Okay guys, this is a air breather tube that goes into the back of the air breather. There's a little gray release on it. You push on that gray release and pull that tube right out. Then I have already come over here and loosened this hose clamp, and what I'm going to do is take this whole assembly loose and get to the hose clamp in the back, and this whole assembly will come out. So I'm going to stand up here and try to get to that hose clamp in the back. Don't know how easy that is going to be to film, so let's give it a try. All right, there is a hose clamp back here going on to the throttle body that I'm going to try to turn loose. Yes, I'm on a step stool. I'm short. The truck's up in the air, so I had to get the step stool out to get this off the throttle body. That should have this whole little, I don't even know what you call this, maybe a breather box, loose at this point. Oh, it's about to come off. There you go. And then try to get it loose from here. That's how you get the little breather box out of the way. I don't even really know why this is in there. I would assume that they use this for noise, so you don't get a lot of sucking noise, so they give you a big chamber. Not sure why Chevy does this, but that's a lot of stuff to go throw in the trash. Moving forward, now there's this big connector, and I'm not really sure what it goes to, but you just pry that right out of the way, and then there's a holder that holds it to the air cleaner box that I'm just going to pry up because it will go to the next air cleaner box. So that's out of the way. Then we have to get the map sensor out of the way, and I know map sensors are fairly delicate, so I want you guys to be careful with that, please. So I'm going to go ahead and remove there's two T15 Torx on it. There's one of them. There's the second one. Now this thing is actually in a cage, but it is delicate, so I want you guys to be delicate with it. And what I'm going to do is tuck it back here out of the way so nothing touches it or I don't damage it trying to get this air box out the rest of the way. So there's the next step. Now we got to get the air cleaner box out of here, and stay tuned, I'll get right back with you. Okay, it looks like there's only one 10mm nut holding the air box in. There is a, I don't know what you want to call it, there's a centering peg on the back that actually goes into a grommet that holds the back in, but it's just a press fit. So once we get this 10mm nut out of the way, we should be able to pry this air box right out of here. Now be careful with your map sensor like we talked about. Be careful with any wiring and hoses. Like this one in the back here is right. See what's going on, because there's a lot of wires and hoses and stuff that need to be thought about. all the cooling lines go down through here. There you go. So it was this peg in the back that's the mounting peg that was getting caught up. This thing was getting caught on this hose, but you can see this big area and this big lug of who knows what that we're taking out of here to replace with the awesome RotoFab unit. Alright, what we have to do is mount this air supply tube to the RotoFab unit. When we do that, if you remember through my video, the mass airflow sensor was kind of at a 45-degree angle facing towards me. And they give you a nice mounting ring to go on the outside edge. And on that mounting ring, you want the flat side facing down. You see there's a flat edge here. It's going to face down towards the bottom of the truck. It's real simple with 6 Phillips head screws to install. Alright, so there is 6 screws around the outside edge. So we're basically clamping this air tube in with these screws. And I did not want to show you guys me trying to start the first one and cussing and screaming, hollering, and throwing stuff across the garage. So we got them all in. We're going to give them a good tightening down. I've already kind of just snugged them a little bit. We'll go around them twice, and then I would recommend you guys coming back after probably, 500 miles or so, and just give them a look over and torque them one more time just to make sure they stay in and they're snug. And we'll go around them one more time, give them like a half twist, make sure they're good and tight, and then we'll have to put in the mount for this box, and then the box will be ready to go in. So we're making very quick work of this. Good engineering helps. So now we'll put the mounts in, we'll put the box in, I'll be right back here. Now all we gotta do is get the bracket put in to actually hold the RotoFab unit. There's a 10mm nut in here holding this to a brace. And they say to remove that. I'm not sure exactly why and what that'll do to that brace, but I'm gonna do what they say to do in their instructions. And this looks like the hardest part of the whole entire install is what's coming up now. So this little bracket has to get fished in behind here. There's a hole there and a little octagonal hole there. So far so good, not too bad. You're gonna have to shut that shit off. Again, I had to get on the step stool to get adjusted here. So you slip this bracket in these 2 holes in the back. It's diagonal at about 45-degree angle. And I'm gonna have to get my head over here to see. How that goes in there. There you go. Pretty simple, I guess, to try to start the nuts on here. Now the good thing they did about that is they welded the stud to the bracket in the back, so you don't have to try to get a wrench on it in the back. We'll just get these nuts on the front right here. Yay, did it without dropping something. That was my fear, was something was going to drop. That wiring harness is just going to sit up against there real politely. I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll get this in here, get these tightened up. As soon as I learn how to work a ratchet. What they do is give you this foam seal that goes around this tube. And of course you'll see that there's a slot to actually put it in. So we're just going to take that and Stretch it around there gently. Back on top, pull it tight enough to make sure that you get both pieces to seal up here. Now the hard part, remember how to put this back in there. Okay, remember this had to go in the opposite it came out, so you kind of got to slip it in this way. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not very simple. Then I just reached into the air cleaner here and guided it into place. Then we'll put this tab back on. Put the tab back into place to hold her in there. That tab don't feel like it's holding. I wonder if there was a special tab for this one. You can turn that off if you're filming these. So they give you two separate screws, not the ones you took out, to put back in your mass airflow sensor. Again, I'm trying to be very careful with this thing. And I do not want to touch it if I can handle it. Here we go. Pretty simple, unless you drop a screw, which you do not want to do in the engine compartment. Everybody knows that. So I got it tightened down. I'm just snugging her down. I'm not trying to really torque her real hard. And that's the install for that. Now we're going to put this wire harness. They didn't put a bracket up here for you to clip this wire harness back in. Okay, they got my wire harness back in. Okay, now you have to put the coupler on the front of the throttle body. And of course, install the clamp. And I'm always a little extra picky about my clamps. I like to put things going in one direction and also try to make sure they're hidden out of sight. So this clamp we put on this one, I put towards the back. And this clamp here, I'm going to work around till it's kind of out of my way where it's also hard to see. All right, that was a mission. So do yourself a favor, put the side in with the air cleaner first, and then twist it around and put it on the throttle body. And then we're going to try to hold these clamps still and tighten them down. And remember this piece that we took off earlier, slide it back in here and you can hear it click in the spot. That's how you know it's going to be in the right spot, when you hear it click in. And then I believe this is, thank God, our last hose clamp that we have to deal with, because these things are a headache. And that is almost it for the install. We got to go back in and tighten down where the air cleaner sits, and then we got to also put on the air cleaner, which we have not done yet. I was like giving it a pull test and make sure everything looks right, and it does. On to the next step. Thank God we're down to our last step here, which is actually just installing the air cleaner in here. Then we're going to be ready to make some horsepower, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it'll make a little noise too. A little noise, a little horsepower, never hurt anybody. Might piss off the neighbors once or twice, but that's okay. I run this joint anyway. Okay, so we got the air cleaner in there. They put a nice little see-through lid and a screw on here to hold the lid back. That's really slick engineering, and kind of cool that they put a clear lid in there. They didn't have to do that. Just an extra step to make their product a little more cool. That's it. Last step. Let's start it up. Make sure we get full open throttle body, just to make sure we didn't mess anything up over there. And let's give it a test and see what it sounds like. Okay, there she is. Final finish install. Ready to give it a test. My beautiful assistant, who's been running my camera quasi, is inside, ready to start it. It's really actually quiet. I don't even hear it making any noise. Let's rev it up one time and see what happens. All right, there you guys have it. RotoFab install. I would say if I wasn't trying to film, this probably would have only took me somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes. The engineering on this piece of equipment is fantastic. Everything fit. I did not really have to do any massaging or adjusting of any part, which is rare for an aftermarket bolt-on, so it all went perfect. Thank you, RotoFab. Now let's get down the street and see if we can build some horsepower, you know what I'm saying? All right, first official test drive with the RotoFab installed. Gonna see if I can tell the difference. That's 80 miles an hour right there. This truck feels pretty quick. What I'm gonna say that I felt out of that is just a little more responsiveness. I don't know if the horsepower is up or not, but I feel the response being a little faster. And the next phase in this whole ordeal, now that I have the cold air and I have the exhaust, is gonna run this thing up to Vengeance Racing, because they're awesome, and let them do a tune on this thing, and that will allow me to get the best benefit out of the RotoFab and the exhaust. And that'll be phase 3 of the truck. Thanks for watching.